I said, I hope you guys are having a great day so far. This is another episode of Strategy Sunday. I hope you guys are having a great day. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a lot to discuss. We got a lot of things that we're going to talk about. So give me a few seconds to set up. So I want to talk about a few things, but I got to send out a few messages here. Yeah, so people know that we're on live, right? So I'm a little bit behind tonight. I apologize. So we got a great episode of Strategy Sunday tonight. So like I said, I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. I hope you guys had a great week. So today it may be a little weird because I am using NVIDIA's AI video plugin, right? And what it's supposed to do, is it's supposed to, whenever my eyes move away, it's supposed to keep eye contact to the camera. So we're going to see how that works. I don't know if it's going to work. It may be creepy, but we're going to see if that works. Let me get these headphones off. But yeah, we're going to see what happens, see if it's creepy. Hopefully it'll be okay. So like we said, we got a great episode of Strategy Sunday tonight. We got a lot of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Mike's, but you said the mic on here is muffled. Okay, give me a second here. Plug in this other mic. I got a lot of respect for audio engineers, man, because it's very difficult for me to get the audio levels right. So like I said, it's very, audio engineering is hard. So like I said, people on Instagram should be able to hear me now. So we got a lot to talk about. The first thing we want to talk about is a story about a bull run. And then we're going to talk about Bitcoin at 300,000. Then we're going to talk about AI and immortality. We're going to talk about some hot gold stocks that are coming up. We're going to talk about XRP, ISO 222. Then we're going to talk about blood in the streets. There is a bank stock out there that I think is going to do very well in the future. We're going to talk about CDs and bank rates. We got a pack full Strategy Sunday tonight. So like I said, I hope you guys are engaged. Hope you guys learn. Let's get started. Right before we start on Instagram, I need you guys to share the live with 10 of your friends. We're on YouTube right now, Captain Rivera. So we're on YouTube right now. So we're on YouTube right now. So you guys should be able to see us on YouTube. So yeah, everybody should be okay now. Hopefully it doesn't freeze again like it was freezing before. So hopefully we should be okay. So let's move on, right? So, like I said, if you're on Instagram, we are on YouTube also. So I can't up the audio having static. So it's just how it's going to happen, right? So the sound is a lot better on YouTube, of course, because you got better tools. But I want to talk about a few things. First, I'm going to talk about the time that I was actually in the bull run in Pamplona, Spain. Then I want to talk about Bitcoin at 300,000. So I want to start with a story so that we all understand what's happening, what's going on. So before I hit 30, I had a list of things I wanted to do. Play professional basketball, be a professor at a college, a whole bunch of other stuff. And one of the things on my list was to run in the bull run in Spain. For those of you who don't know what the bull run is that every year they have bullfights in Spain all over the country. So one of the things they have to do is that every morning they have to bring the bulls from the stables to the stadium, right? So that's what the bull run started. So the bulls have to run down the street. They corral the street down, put some fences on the side, and the bulls run from the corrals to the stadium every morning. So back in the past, a lot of people who were brave decided to start running with the bulls, right? So why is it slowing down on Insta? I don't understand what's happening on YouTube, but regardless, is that people started like going from the stables. I mean, the bulls had to go from the stables to the thing, so people started running with the bulls. So it became a tradition every year. So I wanted to do that. That was one of my dreams. It sounds crazy, but that was one of my dreams. I wanted to run with the bulls. So I picked a date, and I said I was like 29 years old. I said, look, I'm gonna run with the Bulls. I'm gonna go this year before I hit 30 because I want to make sure I hit my goals, what I said I was gonna do. So I get to Spain, right? I'm wearing all the clothes, the white and red, and I'm gonna run with the Bulls. So I spend a lot of money, spend hotels, everything nice, hotel right next to the starting place where they start the Bulls. So I go to sleep, wake up that morning, get down there, it's thousands of people, right? I couldn't even get to the starting line, even start. It was no way I could get there. I only had 1 day planned for the Bull Run. So when I got there, I could not run with the Bulls, right? It was no way. It was too many people there. It was too crowded. And actually, those people had been there the night before. They slept on the starting line to get that place to run with the Bulls, right? So because of that, I was unable to finish my list because I was unable to get my place in the Bull Run because once it started, there was too many people there, right? There was too many people there. And that's what happens in real bull runs in the market. We're talking about crypto, stocks, whatever, is that what I should have done is I should have prepared, I should have researched, and I should have known everything possible. So when I got there, I was ready to go, right? But I didn't do that. I just thought I could show up when it started and I would get my place in line. But it didn't happen because when it starts, there's too many people there and there's no way to get involved. And that's what I should have done. Like I said, is prepared up until that point. So when I got there, everything was good. And that's what happens in real bull markets, in real markets. When everything gets excited, when Bitcoin starts going up, when the stocks start going up, when all the options, everybody's making all this money, you're too late. If you ever prepared yourself for that moment, it's already too late. When you get there, everybody else is going to be there and they're going to already be prepared and they're already going to understand way more than you, and you're going to miss your chance to make money in the bull run. And that's what happens in real life. And it taught me an important lesson to always be prepared completely and thoroughly before I get to the place I want to go to, right? So I just thought I'd share that because I want you guys to understand how not being prepared can affect your life. And to this day, I still haven't run in the bull run. I thought about this last time. I said, well, I know I'm 41 now, I'll be 42 March 31st, which in 2 weeks, right? So I kind of thought last night, I said, man, maybe I should just go do the bull run. I know I'm old. I'm getting old. I'm not that old yet. I'm still relatively young. But I can still make it through that bull run. I still play basketball twice a week, so I'll probably still make it. I think I'm going to retry it again, even though I didn't make it before I was 30. To finish my list of things I wanted to do before I was there. That's the only thing I didn't do. It's the only thing I didn't do on my list of things I wanted to achieve before I was 30. So I want to talk about a few things. Am I still in slow motion on YouTube? I don't think so. It looks clear here. So like I'm saying, we want to talk about a few things here. Is YouTube okay? Are you guys getting a good stream on YouTube? I know Instagram is mostly y'all okay. So, like I said, we want to talk about a few things. I want to talk about Bitcoin going to 300,000. Then we're going to talk about AI and immortality because I got a lot of heat from a post I put on Instagram about AI creating immortality. But we'll talk about that later. We're going to talk about hot gold stocks. Then we're going to talk XRP, blood in the streets, CDs, and bank bond rates, right? So, if you want to run with the bulls, you can come to Costa Rica Christmas. Yeah, DM me, man. I may go to Costa Rica and do it. I need to go to Costa Rica anyway. DM me when we set that up. But back to what I was saying is that Bitcoin, the case of Bitcoin at 300,000. Now, if you've been following me for a year, 2 years, I know I said that Bitcoin probably won't do much movement until 2024. And then now Bitcoin is actually doing well. I think it just hit, it hit 28,000 today. Let me see. Nah, it's right under 28,000. So it's up 50% over the last 2 to 3 weeks. In 7 days, it's up 25%. In the last 7 days, it's up 25%. And a lot of people will say, Armando, man, I thought you said Bitcoin wasn't going to do nothing into 2024. Now, I know I said that. I know I said it. I know I said it. But nobody, no major analyst, nobody in the market, nobody on Instagram, no people you follow, nobody expected the banks to start falling like this. Nobody did. Nobody. And that's the importance of research and education, because nobody can predict certain things. You got to be able to readjust what you're thinking, and be agile to move around things that are coming at you and coming your way in the market. Because in life too, in business, whatever, you can never, whatever your plan is, like you said, like Mike Tyson once said, everybody have a plan until they get punched. So you got to know how to respond and roll with the punches, right? And this is something that happened and nobody knew what happened, right? And it seems that Bitcoin is responding positively to a negative situation like the market's crashing, right? So let's discuss why that could be happening. And we're going to discuss the case of Bitcoin at 300,000 by 25. Then we're going to move on to the next point. So I need you guys to do something for me. If you're on Instagram, share it live with 10 of your friends, put the word share in the comments. If you're on YouTube, I need you guys to subscribe, and I need you to like this video. I got 775 people on YouTube, but only 115 likes. That don't make sense. That's dang near impossible. Y'all holding back on the likes. So I need some likes and need subscribes from YouTube. So I'm going to talk about Bitcoin case to 300,000, right? So right now, Bitcoin is sitting at around 28,000. A week ago, really, it was at 21. It'll go back 2 weeks, it was at 19. So it's doing better than any other asset on earth right now. Mostly any other asset class, not individual stocks, but any other asset class, Bitcoin is doing well. And why is that, right? Because a lot of the naysayers, a lot of the people hated on Bitcoin when FTX crashed, when Voyager crashed in 2021, 22, everybody called, man, this shows that Bitcoin is so bad. All those old dudes, those old money, all the people who were jealous of all the people that were making money in crypto, the people who couldn't quite understand crypto, all those people people who missed the boat, they were very happy to see this negative things happening, which shows somebody's character, right? Because I'm not happy that the banks are falling. I'm not happy if I don't really understand 100% or like network marketing, most network marketing, right? And if you do it, it's no problem. Like I said, I don't get into that. I don't really believe in a lot of that stuff, but I wouldn't take happiness if it failed. And that shows you that everybody saw Bitcoin as a threat. I don't have an emotional connection to things I don't believe in. I don't believe in the Forex stuff that people do. Say it fails, whatever, I don't care. You only have emotional connection or emotional response to something that you see as a threat to you personally. And that's why people were so happy to see FTX fall. They were so happy to see Voyager fall. They were so happy to see the turmoil in the Bitcoin market because they had an emotional connection to your positive success. And that's why they were so happy. I don't take happiness in nobody's demise. But then the banks fell. Worse than FTX. FTX was a $10 billion deal. Silicon Valley Bank was a $200 billion failure. 10 times worse than FTX. All right. So why would Bitcoin go to 300,000? Right? Because I had it at 150, 200,000 by the next bull run. There's two reasons. There's two reasons why I think it could pass 300,000 this time is right. Now, if we go back to 2008, the previous economic crash, 1.4 trillion, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was 200 billion, but yeah. So we go back to the previous economic crash 2008, mortgage crisis, right? That was something that happened that a lot of people didn't agree with, is that the government created $800 billion and handed it out to the banks. Now, that stopped the crisis, but a lot of people did not like that the banks were able to hand out, because remember, a lot of the banks are private businesses. Private businesses, no different than your business you got, because I know a lot of people that follow me have businesses, right? They're entrepreneurs, they have business, they have truck business, a lot of different types of businesses. A bank is no different than your business, is a lot bigger with a lot more employees. So they fail. They get a bunch of money. They invested wrongly and they fail. And because they didn't want to cause economic crisis, they gave them money just to continue operations. Now, if your business failed, they're not even going to help you. And that's not fair. That's not fair. It's not fair. Right now, I know they needed to do that to sound the banking system, but still, it's not really fair. They should have had to pay it back or something. So a lot of people didn't like that. So one of the founder of the creator of Bitcoin did not like that as well. And he created Bitcoin in response to that. So he created Bitcoin to be decentralized so nobody can control it like the US dollar. So nobody can create new coins because the US dollar is you're able to create as much money as you want because it's not backed by really anything except the confidence of the US government. So Bitcoin was created in response to the economic crisis of 2008. That's why it came out in 2009, a few months after the economic crisis of 2008. So Bitcoin, to be honest, was created for this moment. It was created for this moment, right? So there's a good chance that Bitcoin could thrive in this moment because that's what it was created for. It was created for people to run from our traditional banking system into Bitcoin. That's what it was started for. So now we didn't expect the banks to fall like they are. Now, I didn't. I'm going to be honest. I did not predict it. I'm not going to say who listened on that because I didn't know. I honestly did not think the banking system was in any kind of trouble. I didn't really, not that I analyzed it and say it was sound. I didn't even think to analyze it. Like, I didn't even think about it. I thought, well, I just assumed it was sound, right? So I didn't expect this. No, I don't think a lot of people did. So now we not only have the crisis and Bitcoin responding positively to that negative situation, we have something else on the horizon, and that's the Bitcoin halving in 2024. Now, for those of you that know what the Bitcoin halving is, I'm going to explain it quickly. I just want to explain it. So Bitcoin halving means the amount of remember every day, every 10 minutes roughly, there's about 6.25 Bitcoin get created, right? Right. And there's a hard limit on all the Bitcoins that can ever be created. It's 21 million, right? 21 million Bitcoins is all the Bitcoins that can ever be in existence. We're at about 20 right now, right? So over the next 100 years or so, we're going to get up to that 21 million mark. So every 10 minutes, 6.25 Bitcoins come to being, right? So every 4 years, they cut that supply by half. Just like oil coming out of the ground. There's a constant rate of oil coming out of the ground. If you cut that supply every 4 years, what is that going to do to the price of oil? It's going to cause the price to skyrocket. So Bitcoin is built in the same way, is that there's Bitcoin coming into being, and every 4 years they cut the supply by half, all the way to 2146, I believe. So every time in the past that they cut that supply, Bitcoin responded positively, 10 times greater every single time almost. From the day of halving until the peak of the market, you're talking about a 8 to 10 times return every single time the halvings happen. It's happened 3 times in the past, 2012, 2017, 2020. It's happened 3 times in the past. 2012, 16, and 20, right? And every single time Bitcoin has went up at least 8 times from the day of the halving to like almost right around 18 months later, every single time. Now, with Bitcoin's price rising before that event, in which I thought that Bitcoin would stay stable this year, and it will be around 20 when the halving happens. So I was expecting Bitcoin to go to 200, 250, somewhere like that. So if this year there's worldwide economic turmoil, and Bitcoin actually does perform as it was intended to perform, you can have a Bitcoin at $60,000. You can have Bitcoin at $50,000, $60,000 on the day of the halving, which is in March of 24. And then you're talking about an 8-time, let's say 6 to 10 time return from the day of the halving. And give you an example, on May of 2020 was the third Bitcoin halving. In the middle of the pandemic, Bitcoin was at $8,800. By the peak, it was at almost 70,000. So if we get to that halving, March of 24, and Bitcoin's at 50, 60, even 70, maybe back to where it's at, add 6, 7 times to that once the halving happens. It could be a Bitcoin well over $300,000 from today's from $300,000, right? It could be a Bitcoin. We could expect a Bitcoin well over $300,000 by 25, 20, maybe early, sometime in 25, right? So I want to talk a little bit about AI and immortality. If you're on Instagram, first let's talk about the CNC. I got a new website. You want to join the CNC? Go to jointhecnc.com. At the bottom of the, I actually got 2 M's on there on Instagram, but it's only 1 M. At the bottom of the page, you look down here, you'll see that there's the link on YouTube. For those of you who know, the CNC is a group that we have, a 5-star community where we give signals, stock signals, crypto signals. We give classes. We're starting a coding program in there coming in April, in which we'll teach our members not only how to trade stocks, which stocks are the best, with the ones we see, and also we're going to trade them how to code, which program, and maybe help them with the job searches and stuff like that. That's the next step of the CNC. That's the future. We're going to also got a class coming up with GPT prompts, in which will show our users how to use ChatGPT to not only make money, enhance their careers, but also make their lives easier. And that's the 2 programs that's coming in April of this year, next month. Actually, the 2 programs coming, we're going to have for coding and ChatGPT training next month. So if you want to join the CNC, there's a link in my bio. If you go to YouTube, there's a link in the bio, also on Instagram. And also, it's $67 now, but once we implement those 2 programs, we're going to move the price up to $87. So if you buy it today, you'll get locked in at that price of $67 forever. We got people that are locked in at $19 from when the program first started 2 years ago. They pay $19 a month going forward, and that's it. And they still make the same amount of money. We make a lot of money in the CNC. If you're in the CNC on Instagram or YouTube, drop the money bags you've been making. We actually made good money last week. So if you've been making money in the CNC, drop those money bags. Also, subscribe to the channel on YouTube and share the live with 10 of your friends on Instagram. Put the word share in the comments. Yeah, CNC does provide crypto one-on-one classes. So we have an entire class, we have 5 courses on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, where to buy XRP, how to buy it, how to store it. We got all of that. So we got over 70 classes in the CNC, I believe, in total. And like I said, that $67 price, you join today, you'll be locked in. And also, we got a conference coming up in May of 20. We're going to announce it tomorrow. And if you're in the CNC before tomorrow we announce it, you come to the conference for free. Afterwards, I can't let you do that. The conference is, just to come to the conference is $197. So if you're in the CNC, you get that ticket for free also. And it's in Miami, May of 20. We got a lot of great things going on. So let's move on. So I want to talk a little bit about AI and immortality. I put up a post this week on Instagram that said that immortality is going to come in about 7 years. And now I'm a Christian. I read the Bible. I grew up in the church. And a lot of people came at me and said that I was evil for believing that AI could extend life. And I didn't even say I believed it. I do believe it, but I didn't say that. I just reported what was happening. I just said, look, they said this, and people got mad at me. I got tons of DMs saying I was evil, against God, against Christ. But the thing about it is that, how is this any different? If you go back 200 years, people lived on average about 54 years. Now we live to be 75. Now, our life has been extended in the last 200 years by modern medicine, better food, better nutrition. So why is it bad? Why is it bad to say that AI can extend our life indefinitely? And it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. I don't know if it's going to be 7 years, but eventually what's going to happen, right? And it's going to cause a lot of problems also. And I just want to make sure you guys know that AI is going to change a lot of things about society, and very rapidly also. That's why I encourage you guys to learn more about ChatGPT, learn about AI, stay on the edge of this technology advances, because if you don't, you're going to be the ones left behind. Like, there's still some people who are 70, 60, 70 years old. They can't use computers. They just can't use them, because a person that's 65, 70 right now, let's say somebody that's 70 right now, when computers were coming out and of age, they was only in their 30s. You know, in the 80s, you were 30 years old if you're 70 now. You was 32 when computers came out, when they started getting hot in the 80s. You had a chance to learn, but you dismissed it. It's just a fad. Then the 90s came. You're only 40. Dismissed it again, you know. Then now the early 2000s, you're only 50 years old. Dismissed again. Now you're 70. You can't learn it. Right now, your grandkids have to help you fill out forms and all this stuff, and you could have had a chance because you let it. And now you know, when you're 50s, you couldn't get jobs because you didn't know how to use a computer. In your 60s, you had to. All of these things were affected because you didn't initially jump on what you saw was taking over at the beginning, and learn about it and get familiar with it, and then grow with the technology. Because if you wait too long, let's say a lot of you guys are sitting by on the sidelines waiting. I don't want to learn about ChatGPT. It's just a fad. It ain't going to work. It's going to get more advanced in 10 years. And you didn't learn the basics. So now you not only got to learn the basics, you got to learn what they come out with in 10 years. Now you're even more behind. Let's say you wait another 5 years, you're even more behind. You got to take advantage of these things now and jump on it now and learn it while it's still in its infancy, while you have a chance, while things are slow, while things are still kind of being developed. That's the greatest chance to jump on something and learn right then. So I want to talk a little bit about some gold stocks. How's my eye contact looking? For those of you who don't know, on YouTube, I know I'm on Instagram here, but on YouTube, I'm using NVIDIA's new AI application that keeps eye contact with the camera even when you're looking away. So I don't know, how's that looking on YouTube for you guys? That's a good point. Learn while your mind is still young. You can't put things off. You can't wait. I'm going to see what happens. All that stuff. Same thing with the bull run. I wasn't prepared when it started. That's why I missed being in one of my dreams to be in the bull run, because I wasn't prepared when I got there. I should have prepared for that 6 months ahead of time. Good job, Ephraim. Somebody says, how is the market going to react when Trump turns himself in? I don't even think that. I think Trump is just using that just to get attention. I don't think he's going to get arrested. I don't think that'd be an unprecedented thing to do. I don't think they're going to. He's a former president, you know, even though whatever people's opinions are about him, he's still a former president. That's going to make the United States look horrible. I hope that they don't do that. You know, it's going to cause more problems than it's worth. I hope that they don't try to do anything with Trump. But I don't think the market will be affected. I don't think the market will even, you won't even see it in the market. You won't even see it reflected in the market. Unless his supporters go crazy, maybe. And they have to go significantly crazy, right? Because even the January 6th rise didn't cause much turmoil in the markets. So I want to talk a little bit about hot gold stocks, right? Because, like, for those of you who I've been talking to for the last 3 or 4 weeks and you've been listening, you know that I made it in the 2008 crash. That was the first time I ever made any significant money in the markets. Now, I played with the markets up until that point, but that when I made a bunch of money on a few stock trades in 2008, that's what really got me involved in the stocks, right? Then I went on to write stock algorithms for companies, went on to do other stuff like that. But that's what got me really, really involved in the market, was in 2008 when I made money on two things. First of all, there was when Fannie Mae fell because of the mortgage crisis. Fannie Mae went from like $30 down to $1, less than $1, like 80 cents. I bought it when it was 80 cents. I put $5,000 in and went up to $3. I made like $15,000. That was the first significant money I made in the stock market. Now I took that 15 and I put it into gold mining stocks and made a little bit more. Those are the two things I did. And it kind of, it wasn't a lot of money, but it did show me the power of the stock market. So I think that's starting to happen now, is that there's the same scenario is happening right now. Remember, history repeats itself. History repeats itself. There's a panic sale, an oversell on a certain asset, like what happened with Fannie Mae. And remember, when I did this, I didn't really know what I was doing. I had a mentor that told me that was a good play. I just listened to him and did it. And then once it hit and I made money, then I started looking deeper into it, right? To understand what was happening. Because I bought stocks before that, but it was always like blue chip stocks, like Walmart. It was like basically 401k stuff and a little bit on the side. It wasn't really trying to make money on understanding how the market moves and the underlying economic principles. It was never that. It was just, I knew how to buy a stock, what a stock was. I was very early in my journey of finance and investing. So the same thing I think is happening right now. And what I mean by that is that I think, and I'm looking more into it over the next week, is that a lot of these bank stocks were oversold. And there's one stock that I really think was oversold a lot and is probably not in a bad situation. Now, in the economic crisis, people panic. They sell everything in that industry, everything. In an overall market crash, they sell every stock. It don't matter if a stock is doing good. It don't matter if the stock it could be actually benefiting a recession or depression or whatever we're in. It doesn't matter because everybody panics. People live by emotions. They panic, sell everything, cause the whole market to fall. Now, once the dust settles, people's minds come back and they say, oh man, I think these stocks shouldn't have been sold. Then they start buying them back. And that's what happened with Fannie Mae. That's how I made $15,000 when I was in 2008. I made $15,000 off of understanding the panic oversell and the bounce back, right? So I think that the same situation happened with Bank of America. I think Bank of America is oversold. And I think it's going to come back this week. So I'm going to start buying Bank of America stock on Monday because, and I'll tell you this, and I say this rarely, I got a pretty high confidence in this. I normally don't say this. I got a pretty, let's say a 90% confidence that I think, I know last week we talked about Roku, that didn't work out. Now I couldn't foresee that they were going to come in and this is what I didn't foresee. And I'm not going to say this, is the federal government would actually give the depositors the money past the $250,000 back immediately. Now, I didn't know that was going to happen. Some stuff you don't know. And a lot of these things you can't foresee. So with Bank of America, I don't think there's anything at play like this that could affect what I'm looking at, right? So with Bank of America, there's two things that I think about Bank of America. I think it's a solid bank. And I could say this too on the other side. I don't like bank. Actually, to be honest, I'm banned from Bank of America for life. And I'll tell you why. It's because of crypto. Back in like 2015 or 16, they found out I was doing crypto stuff, and they we don't want to do business with you no more. They sent me a letter. But that was the common practice for banks back in the day. That was common practice. And it was for people that were early in crypto. Before 2016, 17, that banks didn't like crypto and they would ban you just for if they figured out that you were using crypto in any kind of way. That. So can everybody hear me on Instagram? Somebody saying they can't hear me. But beyond, I could see past my hatred for Bank of America. And I could see that it's a good opportunity, right? Because when Silicon Valley Bank fell, when Signature Bank fell, a lot of those depositors were in a panic state. They were panicked. So when somebody's in a panic state, they run back to security. All of a sudden, they don't want to be with these startup banks and regional banks. They want to be with a bank they think is going to be sound. And it's only 3 or 4 banks, 3 to 5 banks in the world, in the U.S., I should say, that fit that. It has that attribute. Bank of America, Chase, and maybe a couple more, right? Bank of America has been the choice for a lot of those people leaving those banks. Even people in regional banks, there was a report that came out today that said over 200 regional banks could be at over 200 regional banks could be at a state where they could possibly fall. 200. So a lot of those people are leaving those regional banks and making deposits in Bank of America. And I think Bank of America is actually going to benefit from this crisis, right? And also, let's say Bank of America did fall. That's one of those banks considered too big to fail. So even if it happened, the government's going to come in and save them. Bank of America, if you're talking about Lehman Brothers, Bank of America can't fail, right? And I don't like bailouts. I really don't like them. I think they should just let them fall, but they won't. They won't do it. They're going to come in and save Bank of America, even if they had a bad situation. So somebody just wrote me and said I didn't mention the gold stocks. So let's go back to the gold. Yeah, I think I got two. Yeah, let's go back to the gold stocks, right? So I think I skipped over that. So let's go back. We'll talk about Bank of America later. I skipped over the gold. So like I said, is that gold stocks. So sorry about that. Somebody should have told me. But I want to talk a little bit about gold stocks. But before we do that, I need you guys to do two things. I need you guys to, if you're on Instagram, share the live with 10 of your friends. Put the word share in the comments. If you're on YouTube, I got 800 people on YouTube, but only 300 likes. I need you guys to, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And I need you to like this content, right? And then we're going to go on and talk a little bit about gold stocks. The sound's better on YouTube, so. Oh, you could take this off. Maybe the sound is better if I just do this. Sound better now? Maybe the sound's better on Instagram now. I got to figure this sound out. If anybody's a sound engineer in Tampa, let me know. So now I want to talk a little bit about these gold stocks, right? That I think that during this market, I go back to my story. That's how my story started. I said there was two things I did is I waited till there was a panic, bought Fannie Mae. And the second thing I did is I bought gold mining stocks because once all the dust settles, right? Once all the dust settles, is that people will run to things that they're sure of, right? They were sure of two things. They're sure of Bank of America stuff, traditional institutions that have been around a long time, and they're sure about gold. So now the demand for gold is a lot higher, right? And who benefits from the gold being higher? Gold mining stocks. It's the same thing as the pick and shovel strategy, which we talk about a lot. We try to find the people who will benefit off of the demand in the asset, then we buy those stocks. And that's what's going to happen with the gold stocks, right? Is that people, when gold is considered to be a safe investment in times of economic uncertainty. So people end up buying more gold, right? So gold mining companies produce and sell gold. And then when the price of that gold goes up, their profits go up. So the dividends, all of this stuff, everything they do, the ways people make money off of stocks, all of them go up. So people can anticipate that. The smart investor knows this is coming, so they start buying gold stocks ahead of the boom, which is coming 6 months, a year later. And I think that gold mining stocks are going to be the ones that benefit over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? So one of the biggest ones I'm looking at is called Yamana Gold Incorporated. It's in Canada. It's a Canadian mining company that mines gold, silver, and copper mining operations. Now, to be honest, I think it's going to go up next week, but I'm going to give it 3 weeks just so people won't come at me and say, I thought you said it was going to go up next week. I think it's going up next week, but I'm just going to give it 3 weeks because people, every time I miss a prediction like Roku or whatever, people come at me. I actually got my DMs blocked because some dude came at me about a Roku, but that's never, that doesn't matter really. But like I said, I think it's called, and the symbol is AU, the periodic table symbol for gold, Y, AUY, AUY. So we're going to have to skip ahead now. We're a little bit late. So we're going to talk about Bank of America stocks. We're going to skip XRP tonight. Sorry about that. We'll talk about it another day. But we only got about 15 minutes. So blood in the streets bank stocks, right? And we talked about the first time I made a lot of money in stocks in 2008. And I bought the stocks that were oversold. Then I put that money into gold mining stocks. And like I said, I think Bank of America, we've been talking about it for a second. I think Bank of America is a great way to go. And I think it's going to start rebounding next week. Right? I'm going to give it that 3 weeks too, because I don't want people coming at me. But I think Bank of America is going to respond positively to this crisis because like we said before, as all those bank deposits that came from Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, and a lot of the regional banks people were fearing that could possibly be dropping are moving into Bank of America, right? Bank of America is a dividend stock too, which means that you're going to get a dividend every so often. And also it's a more secure stock. It's a blue chip stock. It's a secure stock. So a lot of people are going to see this next week and and it's undervalued now. So people are going to start buying it. So I think that Bank of America is going to do extremely well over the next week or two. And in the CNC, we'll give you guys more technical analysis on the Bank of America and the gold stocks. We'll do the after party later. If you're on YouTube, I need you guys to follow the account, subscribe, and like the video because I only got 398 likes, but there's still 700 people in that room. If you're on YouTube, Instagram, I need you to share live with 10 of your friends. Put the word shared in the comments. I appreciate that badge, Hot Rod. In the CNC, if you also want to join the CNC, like I said, over the next 3 weeks, we're going to include ChatGPT training and also tech training, coding, Python, C#, C++, and Java over the next month. So in the CNC, if you get in at these prices, $67, it's going to go up to $87 once we get all that stuff implemented, and then you'll be locked in at that price forever. So let's move on. So I want to talk about one last thing. I'm going to let you guys ask any questions you want to talk about. What we want to talk about is that the CDs and bond rates. Now, it's important to stay on top of where the rates are and the Fed rate, bond rates, and CD rates, and also Treasury bill rates. It's important to stay on top of this, and I'll tell you why. It's because I put up another post earlier this week, and I said that what's a good plan. I actually just changed the plan that somebody else said, and I gave him credit in the caption. I said that you should. It was a good idea to charge your kids rent when they first get a job, 16, 17, 18. Take that money and then invest it for them into a CD, which is basically guaranteed, right? And you could get a 5-6% rate on the CD, right? And a couple of people came at me and said, ain't no way you're going to get a CD at 5%. They only give you like 0.1% for a CD or 0.5% for a CD. And I responded and I said, have you checked the current CD rates? Oh, I haven't checked it in a year. Yeah, last year, the average CD rate was 0.013. Now, the average CD rate is almost 5%. It's important to stay on top of these rates because if you don't know what the rates are, Warren Buffett makes all of his financial decisions based on the current Treasury bill rate. That's when he wants to acquire a company, he thinks about what's the Treasury bill rate. Whenever he wants to do this, he thinks about what's the Treasury bill rate. All of that is added into an equation in which he decides on if he's going to make this investment or not. Because that Fed rate is very important because that's how companies, everybody in the United States and a lot of places on earth have to use that bill rate to make calculations and predictions on the future. And that's one reason why Silicon Valley Bank failed. That's the main reason Silicon Valley Bank failed is they misunderstood Treasury bill rates and returns. And that's why the one reason why they failed. So when the Fed rate goes up, a lot of people see it as negative because, hey, I can't get a mortgage. I can't borrow money. I can't do a lot of the things that I wanted to do because the Fed rate is so high that I'm paying ridiculous interest. But on the other side of that, when the Fed rate goes up, there's two things that happens. Is that when the Fed rate is low, 0% or 1%, you got to remember the bank gets money from two sources. The bank can borrow money from the Fed, or they can take it from you as a CD or whatever, to get the money as a deposit or whatever. So when the Fed drops its rate to dang near 0, the bank don't even want your money no more. Because if they want to borrow money, they get it from the Fed at a 0% interest rate. So to take your money in as a CD, to take your money in as a deposit is a burden to the bank. They don't even want it. That's why they give you such low rates, 0.013. So now when the Fed raises the rate 7, 8, 9, or whatever percent it's going to end up at, now all of a sudden you're the belle of the ball. They want your money now. Come on, man, we give you 5% now. We'll give you 6%. We'll give you whatever. If it's under the Fed rate, it's a good deal for them. And now you're making 6, 7, 5, 6, 7% return on your money that's almost guaranteed as long as the bank don't fail, which could happen too. But Bank of America, I don't think the big ones are going to fail. So it's important to stay on top of these rates because now you can get 5, 6% return over the next 6 months on your money being in the bank, which is a good return. The average stock market return is only 9%, and that's risky, slightly risky, not much risky if you do it right. But a CD is almost the least risk you can do. And then you also got Treasury bills, which is almost the most guaranteed form of investment possible. And they're paying at 3, 4% right now. Right now, Treasury bills are paying at 3.8%. 5 years are paying at 4.8%, almost 5% on a Treasury bond, which is the lowest risk you could possibly have. The only way that if I had to choose between a Treasury bond and a CD, I'd choose a Treasury bond. Because the only way you ain't get that money back if the United States defaults on its debt, which means that we fallen as a country anyway, and the dollar's not worth nothing anyway. So it don't matter, So if the United States don't pay those Treasury bills, the U.S. is done anyway, and the dollar's not worth nothing anyway. So it's the least risk you could possibly have, right? They're paying 4.5%, I think, for T-bills, which is a ridiculous rate on a guaranteed return. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to ask any questions. I'll let you guys go for the night. Make sure you join the CNC tonight if you haven't already done so. Yeah, Capital One has a 5% CD. Any question? Altcoins. What are the 2,000 regional banks offer? I mean, you just got to look that up, Philip. I don't know what the 2,000 regional banks are. 200 regional banks. I'm sorry. Oh, I appreciate you, Perez Pires. Gold mining stocks. Somebody asked a good question. Are gold mining stocks better or physical gold? Well, the physical gold is not going to go up as much as the gold mining stocks will. So you got a higher rate of return on a gold mining stock as you would with physical gold, but you also got a higher rate of risk. Physical gold has a very low rate of risk, but it's not going to go up as much. So you have to pick your choice there. Is that if you want more risk but more profit, gold mining stocks. But if you want to be more stable, more secure, go with gold. How does XRP and Bitcoin coexist in the future economy? All right, that's a good question, Mr. Fantastic. Is that how does when automatic weapons came out? I think it was the 1800s. Automatic weapons, machine guns. How would rifles fit in? Because why would you need a single pull rifle when you got a machine gun? Well, it's because, and why do you need a handgun when you got a rifle? Why do you need a shotgun when you got a handgun? It's because each one, even though they're all guns, they're all for one specific thing. Handgun, personal protection. Shotgun for home protection. A rifle for long range hunting. A machine gun for battles or whatever, or groups of people, whatever you want to do. So there's different reasons why we use these guns. You may need 5. Sometimes in a scenario, a survival situation, you may have to have 5 guns. Same thing with crypto, is that each crypto has a specific function. Bitcoin is becoming a store of value. XRP will be more used for payment, like almost like a Western Union type system, right? Is that if I want to send money cheaply, I use XRP as the settlement currency. That probably is going to be used for banking transactions. So I got Bitcoin is when I want to store my money long term. Ethereum is when I want to use it for data or NFTs or whatever stuff like that. So each one of these cryptos has a specific use case, right? So each one can exist for that specific use case, like a shotgun, a handgun, a rifle, and a machine gun can all exist in the same world. Even a knife can exist with a gun. They're both weapons. Why do we need both? Because a knife is used for one thing, a gun is used for another. So that's the reason why XRP and Bitcoin, which is kind of like digital gold, is turned into digital gold, can be used in the same environment. All right, so like I said, I hope you guys have a great night. I appreciate you joining Strategy Sunday. If you have any questions, DM me, and have a great rest of your week.